Hello and welcome back to Stars in the Dark, Season 4, Episode 7, Episode 38 overall. I think today we will probably continue with some downtime and maybe work our way up to setting up a job, maybe getting into it. We'll see. Depends on what you're interested in doing. I think I'll start with giving some updates on what's been going on with the other factions. This is information that you will have picked up like whatever or whenever, various times. I feel like it's easier to just do it like this than to work all of it into people you're talking to, because there's a lot happening that we don't see on screen. So. You've heard a little bit from 1313 that the Empire there, they're not doing so well. I think I've mentioned before, at least offhandedly, that the garrison they've had some desertions. A lot of the stormtroopers have left to presumably, maybe some have just drifted away. Some have probably joined the Next Order, who are kind of a stay-behind organization, not formally affiliated with the Empire, but like trying to planning for the future. And I think probably Val would hear from Petra, because through your connection with Bria, I think she feels most comfortable like communicating with you, and since you've been affiliated with the rebellion, she anyway, you found out through her that she and Code Phoenix, they have continued to supply Tor with information about the Empire, and so Tor and Becker have made some coordinated strikes against Imperial supplies. So that's another problem for them. The garrison has tried to compensate by recruiting auxiliary troops, not stormtroopers, but like a militia almost. Partly from the privileged families, because they are the ones who have the most to lose if things go south, and they don't really have a lot of support from the general populace. So there's a lot of like younger sons who have joined up with that. Becker has told Bade, I think, that they've moved base. They've moved to the Warrens, and they have started recruiting there. Have had a fair amount of success with that. So it's the rebellion is growing on 1313, and the Imperials are a bit on shaky ground. It's far from the tipping point, or at least they're not at the tipping point, but things are looking up for the rebels. And I think Boko would hear from Freesmop, or via Freesmop, your old contact in the Thousand Knives, who joined up with the Moon Minox. They've had a lot of trouble recently. They're dealing spice as usual, but they've lost several of their shipments to these Skywalkers, some weird fringe crazy group who are like just burning the spice shipments. It's crazy. So they're in a bit of trouble. So that's on 1313. On 1314, let's see. The Spanners who are a big crew in the Bend, where you set up the meet between House Gilash and the rebels. They've been pushed back a bit there because the rebels, who know some of the, since the rebels are also in the Bend, they know a little bit about the information or about the situation there. They have supplied information to House Gilash, who have used their influence in the bureaucracy to like direct the Coruscant to make some strikes there. So the Spanners are worse off. The more close to home, or your current situation, the Emerald Eagles, they have fallen out of favor with the Gold Hawks, who are their bosses. And the one of the big groups in the Glitz. So there's a bit of they're weak right now. On the other hand, the Gold Hawks, they have purchased contracts for several experienced gladiators, and the gladiators are kind of a Hutt thing. The Hutt cartel are strong yeah, a lot of influence over the gladiators, but the Gold Hawks are apparently making inroads there. Yeah, I think that's it. That was a bit of an info dump, but and these are things that you've picked up, as I said, over time. So after that, I think I want to go to Val. You've been like preparing to try to provoke Karnok into attacking you as a way to uniting the crew, basically.
It's the most sane decision I can make.
Sorry?
It's the most sane decision I can make.
Yeah. It's very wise. Since you trained with Karnok, I think we established that.
Okay.
You have some experience with how she thinks. You know a little bit about that. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things. You know that she is basically fearless, but she's not stupid. And that's a dangerous combination. But she's not cautious exactly, but she prefers to, she very rarely goes at you directly. She will attack your allies, weaken your position, try to provoke you into coming to her. That's her usual modus. And this meshes at least partly with what the others have told you, that she went after Celine, Boko's former colleague. She went after the Moon Minox, and that whole thing. And that fits with what you know about. So that's just some information there. Does Val have some idea of, is this something that you're pushing to do now, or are you looking for like to do some other job while you set this up and try to manage that?
I was thinking that there's no guaranteed way for me to make this happen, right? Like, unless I somehow convinced her to do this like on a person-to-person level, like there's no way I could guarantee it. So like I'm going to try to create a trail, a breadcrumb trail. And if she acts on it, great. If she doesn't, I tried. But the point being is I also won't know when she's going to strike, which would give me some ability to say, like, have an alibi, I guess. Like, I didn't know. This is a horrible idea. So No, it's not something I'm going. I would like to have it happen as a player, but I can't think of any way to make it happen as a direct action.
Cool.
So
Uh,
I guess
yeah,
I guess I need a clock of some sort, but
absolutely. We could
yeah.
absolutely do that.
Yeah.
We could make it a long-term project.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. LTP.
Yeah, Mark posted in the chat here. You could hire her to you could put out a hit on yourself through.
It reminds me of there was a episode in True Blood where the soldier with the PTSD he didn't want to know when he didn't want to know when it was going to happen, so he just hired the guy. And he's like, just I don't want any clue that it's about to happen. Yes.
Yeah, just something.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, let's. I'm going to cut away from all the player characters for a moment because I forgot to go through the wishes. I'll do that now, and then I'll do the thing. Yeah, wishes from last session. Tycho wants something or Rich wants something that wants a reason for Tycho to stick around, basically, to have something to anchor him to the setting. And we want to see Boko do some Hutt stuff. So you may get a chance for that today. We'll see. And Bade and Boko want to have a conversation about Etna leaving and the situation with the crew. So yeah, and the final wish was to see what Val missed by not following Druvo, and that's what we're going to get into now. So to cut back to before Val and Bade spotted Druvo in this bar you were at. Druvo arrives at the bar. He's got a package with him, and he sits down to talk with this Hutt, whose name I never remember and regret not changing because it's hard to pronounce. Agrilb, who is Scarbo's cousin. They sit down, they talk a bit. We don't hear what they say. We just see that they're there talking. Druvo leaves this package kind of on the seat between them, and then he gets up and leaves. That's when first Bade spots him, and then when he leaves, Val sees him on the outside. He and the two people he were there with, they sit up on their speeder bikes. They speed off towards the docks. There, Druvo hands one of the dock workers some credits, and they load the bikes onto a cargo compartment, and they also get in there. Usually no passengers in the cargo compartment, but apparently they have some deals set up there, and they disappear. That's what we see. Now we cut back to where we ended last session. After all this, think we established that you're all in the Bantha sleep. When you were talking about the situation, what you were going to do. When Esnada poked her head into the meeting room, and she said, "There's a Hutt here who wants to talk to you." And that's where we're going to pick things up now. So you're in one of these back rooms. She's just told you this. What do you do?
Tycho checks his blaster, makes sure that it's powered, ready to go. But he's not the shot caller. So
Yeah, Boko just asks, which hut?
I don't know. I don't keep track. That's
Is
not my job.
any hut besides Skirbo? Do you know Skirbo? It's not him, right?
It's not Scarbo.
Okay. Blaster out, hanging by my side. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you step out into the room, and it's pretty quiet. Like people have drawn away a little bit from the door, and you recognize that this is Agriel, Skirbo's cousin, and he's standing just inside the door, and you can see through the door that he has this sort of palanquin out there that they carried him there on. But he's on the ground now. He's not that fussed about it, and he's just he's gone like inside the door, but not quite up to the bar. So he's like standing there, taking up a lot of space, both physically and with his presence, I guess. And you all know that he's affiliated with the Hutt cartel on 1340. He's one of the leaders.
I think Boko's just got to, he's got like walk, not hurriedly, briskly, but casually up to him, and just keep eyes fixed on his eyes. And when I get within, an arm's length or so, say, why would you come here?
You are direct. I appreciate that. I have come with an offer, an opportunity.
Keep talking.
And I step up beside Boko and nod.
Do you wish to talk out here in front of the general public, or perhaps we should discuss this more privately?
How many of the patrons are patrons, and how many are gang right now?
I think about 10 people from the gang are here, and about 10 patrons as well.
Look at Bade.
I think now's a good time. Let's go downstairs. And I think
Yeah.
we've established that there's like some rooms that we use downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go downstairs if you can manage it.
Very well. And he follows you, and he kind of slithers down. It's not the most comfortable for a hut, but he can manage. He kind of squeezes through the door into the room. I assume all of you are there. You all want to be part of the meeting?
yeah. Tycho heads down, probably slide up against a wall, remain standing, hand not far from his blaster, but not drawing it either.
Bade is last. Bade stopped by the bar, reached behind, grabbed something that would be suitable for, a hut, something probably sugary and maybe a couple of snacks, that are writhing around in a little bowl, and comes in last. And, I think we have like a table that's inside this room, and kind of sets that and, has the 4 glasses and sets them down and pours a little bit of drink into each.
Your hospitality honors you. And I think he kind of has to lean forward to pour himself a glass because of the stubby arms, but it's what they do. So yeah, he pours himself a glass, he grabs some snacks, and just to show you that he's not afraid of you, basically. He's not worried. You may have heard that the Gold Hawks are in some trouble. They've had a falling out with their enforcers in the Eagles. I don't know if you had a hand in that or not. That's beside the point. My cousin has told me that you are trustworthy, that you are loyal and reliable, but also that you are interested in making money. And I think the current situation offers an opportunity for us to join together and take over the whole place, not just this little area you hold here, not just the fighting pits and the areas beyond that are ours, but all of it.
And what exactly are you proposing?
That we join forces.
What would that
Are you
look like?
talking to us instead of our employers?
We all know that those nobles, they rely on you for their muscle. Without you, they don't have the strength to hold on to anything here, and we don't need them. We need you.
What would this look like?
Well, we can work out the details if you're interested. It would be a partnership. Of course, we currently have a stronger position, but we're willing to be generous.
And Val just clocks everybody's eyes, you know, Tritsy, Boko, Bade, Baron, and just sees what those eyes have to say. So, Mark, what are your characters?
I think Boko is mostly just kind of astonished at the gall of this Hutt to show up at our place. I think there's a little bit of like glint of opportunity there, but mostly just like I'm like a half second away from putting a blaster bolt in him just for showing up. Tritsy's eyes are all opportunity, though. She sees a lot of ways to work at this angle.
Steven, what does Bade give me?
Yeah, I think Bade, you see wariness and, you know, no interest in, you don't see any interest in money or anything like that. And maybe as you look a little bit deeper, you see trepidation because we just got in trouble for not following our
Oh, right.
our boss's wishes. So,
But I also flip that around to say, like, my goal is now to drain our bosses dry, to get my baby mama out of jail. So, very interesting spot. Rich, what do I get from Tycho?
Opposite to others, I think Tycho's pretty impressed that this guy came out on his own, no backup, seems a little desperate, but also a little ballsy. So he's really interested in this opportunity.
What I'm thinking is that if he's come alone, completely alone, then he's afraid of it getting back to other people. Like, this is definitely him and not necessarily him and everybody else under him, right? Like, and this could be like a plausible deniability thing. He's like, you think I went all the way out to their place just to talk to them, kind of thing. But we all have machinations within machinations. Could we do like a group consort role or something? I don't know. Like, let the dice tell us how this conversation goes, because I'm not really sure that we have consensus on, everybody's like no, or everybody's like yes, or everybody's like shoot him.
I
I think
think
we probably tell him to wait, and we'll talk it over, because it's a big decision to make on the spot.
yeah. I mean, I think it's clear that he doesn't expect you to give an answer here right away. It's and I think he spots that Boko is kind of like your hand is straying near your blaster.
Oh, my blaster's in hand. It's not even
Oh,
holstered.
okay,
Yeah.
So I think he doesn't look directly at you. So I think he talks to. I think he is directing this at Val, probably. So, of course, you understand that I've come here alone is because I trust your judgment. You all understand that if anything were to happen to me while I'm here, then that would not just mean the end of you personally, but your crew and everyone in your family that my associates could track down.
Val's gonna make a joke here. He's like, well, I do have a member of my family. I don't know.
And I think Bade steps forward. Bade says, so it sounds like you're, offering for the Goldhawks to become members of our gang. Are you talking about joining up with us?
The Goldhawks, they will need to be destroyed. They are our common enemies.
Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. He is representing the Hutts, or he's representing the Emerald Eagles, or who's he representing?
He's representing the Hutts. So
okay.
the Hutts and the Goldhawks, they are the main rivals in the Glitz, and the Emerald Eagles are a gang working for the Goldhawks, but they're kind of on the outs, right?
Okay.
Gladiators are the ones that worked for the Hutts, and we took them out. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that the Goldhawks were working for the Hutts, so that makes more sense. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Then I hadn't been.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay.
Are Goldhawks connected with Black Sun or anyone? Or are they just on their own?
They're a local crime syndicate just here in the Glitz.
Cool. I think Boko just like catches his eye and says, "You know who I am, right?"
My cousin has told me a great deal about you.
Not Skirbo. You know who I am and who my family was, right? You wouldn't have come here without doing research on who you're hiring.
Are you referring to some particular incident I should know about?
Cartel had my brother killed.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
And Boko is just silent and staring for a while.
Well, we should discuss this amongst ourselves. How should we reach you in the future?
Oh, you can send your communications through this link, and he gives you like contact information, or you can come visit us at. We never named the place you were at. I think we should do that. But he names that bar you were at where you spotted him and Brew. If I'm not there, then talk to the bartender. He will know how to get in touch.
Very good. So I guess like what my character traits is like I have a tab everywhere. So I guess I've been there before too. Right. So I'm like, oh, over by the the ring junction or something like that. So well, is there anything that our hospitality could do for you now? Or do you need to head out?
If there is nothing further you want from me right now, then I will be on my way. I will look forward to hearing from
We will let you know one way or the other very soon.
you. Good. We cannot wait too long, but you can have 2 days. And he kind of wiggles around and squeezes out through the door. He leaves.
And here they say nothing interesting happens on Thursdays.
I think Bade's gonna follow Ogreeb up and make sure that he makes it out and doesn't do anything and basically sees him to the door. That's the equivalent.
Yeah,
And then I'll come back.
He slithers through the bar, kind of like he owns the place, but that's kind of how Hutts always are. So and he gets up on his palanquin and he's carried away. And he thanks you for your hospitality before he goes.
She nods and kind of turns around, steps back into the bar, eyes everyone, and then heads back down in the room where everyone else is.
Yeah, and you can see like people whispering and talking to each other. Obviously, this is a big deal.
So Boko,
Well, boss, what do you think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I noticed that you didn't shoot our guest. Well, surprised.
Well, why take one when we can maybe get the whole batch down the road?
I see.
Besides, he's way too big to get out of his basement on our own.
Well, he did promise to help me find. No, anyway. I guess Val's being a little morbid. Babe, can I have a moment with you?
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We walk into my office. I give a nod to Tycho. I guess like you're in control or you're in charge while I'm gone kind of thing. But then I also look from you to Boko. What you take out of that, I don't know. But so I go to talk to Bade and I say, well, we never really finished stating the whole. Let me rewind here. What a great way to end your week with me. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, fuck that guy. The Hutts have only been trouble. I mean, they keep sending assassins and Vruvo. All of these people keep coming after us, and they're all connected to the Hutts. I think showing up here just makes us look even more weak. Makes us look like we're doing business with the people who are hitting on us. Taking out hits on us.
Taking out hits. Oh, they're kind of hitting on us right now, but yeah. And were I not around, what would you do?
I think if you weren't around, I'd talk it over with Boko, and I suspect the two of us would either, if I could convince Boko, we'd see how far we could go with the Hutt to see if we could find Kernok or Vruvo and take them out, or we would figure out a way to show the Hutts that we're not to be trifled with, but not hit them so hard that they come back at us.
So,
Why? What are you thinking?
Well, just to be clear, you're saying that you would agree, but only to give you enough time to double cross. Yes.
We would try to figure out a way to make sure that the Hutts got what was coming to them. Are you seriously considering dealing with them after everything that they've done to us?
I just wanted to make sure I understood everybody's opinions on the matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, last I understood, we were dealing with a Hutt, the Skirbo, right? But he's not a part of the cartel.
We were hanging out at his place.
I say.
Yeah.
I like the idea of seeing where it goes and giving us more chances at inner access for when we decide to do something different. It keeps the wheels rolling. They think that they've got what they want from us, and we continue to extract what we want until it's time to change that.
So Val, we're walking a tightrope here. If we get in with the Hutts, then House Nuramal sees us as leaving the fold and hits us. If we insult the Hutts have already hit us. They're going to hit us harder. It's quite tricky.
It is. Well, I need some time to think on it. Some alcohol, perhaps, or synthahol is what they call it. Star Wars, sorry. Or is that Star Trek? I don't know. I can get drunk right about now. How about you?
I think I want to talk with Boko and maybe the rest of the crew and see, Count and everybody else like that and see what they're, see what they think.
Okay. Do me a favor. Let Tycho know that he's no longer working the streets, as he called it. But I've enjoyed this collaboration of ours.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I certainly have found that your insights are well thought out. I hope you've gained something from this as well.
Yeah, I think we figured out a way to work together. And with that, she leaves and goes back where Tycho and Boko are, and says,
But before, I kind of like to do like a pocket scene with Tycho and Boko. Tritsy's not down here, just Boko.
I think Tritsy's down there, but she's not really involved in this drama, so she's kind of hanging
Okay.
back.
Cool.
Tritsy's MO is always like make them fight, but
It's not a bad MO.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity for us to get a Hutt who hasn't screwed you over in our grasp. You see that
in our grasp or in
opportunity,
his
right?
grasp?
In our grasp. You can think it's his grasp.
He doesn't seem to know about. I wrote my brother's name down somewhere. I don't know. I have it. Doe Rival. He didn't seem to know about Doe. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to squeeze him for some intel.
Yeah. Or point him at somebody who'll get you what you want.
Yeah, cartel. They can't all be buddy with each other.
Not a monolith. My understanding is that they're at each other's necks from time to time.
Oh yeah, let's just point him in the right direction then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to smile at him.
He wouldn't trust you then. That's it.
What do you think? Oh yeah.
What do I?
Yeah.
Tycho tries to play things neutral, and you like turn and ask him. He says, "I don't like the gladiators. They're a threat." So, gets us what we want, and gets somebody in our pocket.
Just to clarify, the gladiators, they are done.
Oh yeah, we wiped them
Emerald
out. Yeah.
Eagles wiped them
Oh,
out.
so I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he was saying the gladiators need to go. Shit, I'm so sorry. I'm
Otherwise, I
bad at
think
remembering. Okay, so then he's saying, what about the Eagles then?
He wants to smash the Gold Hawks. The Gold Hawks are the bosses of the Emerald Eagles, but they're kind of on the outs right now.
Okay. Gold Hawks are a threat. As long as they're around, we can't sleep easy. So they've got to go. And he wants that to happen, and so do we.
Agreed.
But if you don't want to work with him, we figure out a different way.
We'll figure something out. Did Val tell us about seeing him with Rivo?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm usually upfront about these kinds of things.
Yeah, I think Rivo would have to be part of the package, one way or the other.
That sounds good.
It's probably when they come back now.
Yeah, so Val and Bade, you come back to Boko and Tycho and Tritsy.
Why so quiet, everybody?
I'm just reveling in our popularity. I mean, it seems like everybody wants to partner with us.
Maybe we can work for the Empire too.
Tycho spits.
Right. Empire.
So what's the plan, boss?
We can either tell them no and hope that that isn't insulting enough that they will strike us. Or we can say yes and control the narrative until it's time to back out. But we have to do that without other people finding out. I need something to drink. That's what's going to happen now. You're all welcome to join me. Okay.
That sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good.
Drink sounds like a plan.
Excellent. Excellent. No drinking games this time. No drinking games this time. Good to see you with the wine. Yes. Yes.
If everyone feels done with that scene, I think we'll take a 5-minute break.
Cool.
Yeah. So you received the offer from the Hutts, or at least this particular Hutt. I think we'll assume that you'll be discussing this and thinking things over. Since you have a couple of days, you'll use that time. But you can also do some other things if there's something you want to get into. I think everyone spent their downtime activities. That's what it says on my little chart anyway. So it's mostly if you want to prepare for a job, or at least pick a job to start to work towards. I don't remember if I added something there. Yeah, I think we put down a couple of. I made some rough notes on a couple of ideas that were discussed before. There are some options on the jobs tab. Of course, if you think of something else, feel free to drop it in there or just mention it, and we'll see.
Do we want to do the donut shop for kind of a palate cleanser?
That could be a job. Maybe that may not quite rise to the level of a job. It depends on what you find out about it, I suppose. Rich put it in as a job, so I think I added a couple of details. But all you really know right now is that someone's hassling Cat at her space donut shop.
And we don't know who's hassling them?
Nope.
And I guess we should put down it as a job. Take out the Hutts, take out the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, that's
Hawk.
probably more than one job. That's probably not like something you can do in just one step. Since they are a pretty big crew, it's it would take a bit more. But yeah, we can make a note of it, and you can like start working towards.
We could try and snag the Emerald Eagles first and weaken them a little bit.
Possibly.
Well, they're already at odds.
Yeah,
I think we set them at each other. So
yeah, if we
so
could like take them over, because they're tier 1, the Emerald Eagles. If we could like absorb them somehow, that would be fun.
Yeah, I think they were tier 2, but they hit them, and then they fought the gladiators, so they dropped. And you can see the Gold Hawks there. They are tier 3, like you, so they are
They're strong and we're weak though, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, that's mostly. I mean, for you, it's a game mechanical thing because it means you need to advance
Right.
one time before you can advance to tier 4. For the other factions, it's kind of a fictional positioning thing. Like, are they on their way up or on their way down? Are they holding
Yeah.
fast or are they?
Probably harder to knock them down a tier like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So Tycho, did you want to dig into this thing with the donut shop? Is that one of your side projects while everything else is going on?
Yes, I would definitely like to see what troubles are coming our way as we work this job for my rival.
So let's
Mhm.
actually say, so this was part of your stuff on the street, right? Over the past week?
Could be.
Sure.
Yeah. This could be something that's in a kind of a flashback.
Then I think Bade could probably be there to either help or hinder you. I'm going to hit the streets, see my underground connections and all that kind of stuff to see what's going on with you as well. How does that
I
sound?
like it.
Tycho? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Cool.
I don't know that you know yet that I'm around, right? I'm just kind of tailing you.
Perfect. Perfect and not at all problematic. Yes. I'm not going to be angry about that at all. Cool.
Yeah. So the donut shop is on Temple Avenue, which connects to the glitz, but not to your part of the glitz. It's not a big deal to get over there. It's just a question of how do you take the truck? Do you find some other transportation?
Yeah, I don't think Tycho has his own transport, so he'll probably just grab a Johnny Cab or something and
Mhm.
take his way over.
Did you have the image for the donut shop?
I did. I do. But I don't know if I have it in my interval easily grab, so let me
Yeah,
snag it.
sorry. I was just because for some reason I thought we had it on the.
I thought we did
on the-
too. I thought we did, but it's not there.
It doesn't matter. It's
I'll
on
find it
Temple.
as we're talking.
Yeah. It's not hard to find. It's I think because I think in the picture it's kind of hovering, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think Kat or whoever set it up has rigged it with kind of a repulsor thing, so it doesn't hover all the time, but it can kind of lift and move slowly, and so she has a couple of different locations, but she just has the one shop that kind of circulates between the various positions, whatever is most advantageous depending on the time of year or time of day or whatever is scheduled.
It's like a food truck.
Yeah, exactly. It's a food truck, except in space.
Love it.
I mean, she's sort of like a delivery person for donuts for the different office buildings and that kind of stuff.
Probably that's part of it. Like some places there have like standing orders, like she shows up and someone comes out there and grabs like, yeah, we've ordered 20 donuts. They do that every week, that sort of thing.
Nice. I like that. Was
And
that Fifth
Temple
Element?
Avenue-
Was it Fifth Element where it's like they open the door and a person's
Yeah, the
like,
noodle shop or
hovered up?
something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
dope.
And Temple Avenue is it's this big broad avenue. It has there's a fair amount of greenery here, which is unusual. Part of it is the temples have these little gardens around them. And there's a bunch of different temples, various weird sects and religions. And there's a lot of touristy places there as well. So tourist restaurants and gift shops, that sort of thing.
I imagine Tycho will not get anything to eat because he's probably going to have a donut, because if you're dealing with a space donut shop, you should have a donut. But he'll just kip up somewhere underneath it and watch for a bit, maybe half an hour, just watch to see who comes in and out, how frequent are customers flying up, how do people arrive, what's the vibe? And then
Sounds
once
like
he has, I'm sorry.
Sounds like you're trying to survey, maybe.
Yeah, I am.
I just can't not get the image out of my head from Black Dynamite of the guy that's pretending to be a donut, but he also has like a submachine gun when Black Dynamite shows up, and he knows that he needed to shoot him because he has alligator shoes on or something like that. Like, there's just a gang member in a donut in my head, so I'm glad I'm not there. So.
Me too. Because I'd X card the shit out of you. So
I wouldn't bring them along. I'm just saying I'd have a really hard time.
if you did, this. I have no survey. So I think
Yeah.
I just think this is a good idea, but I'm not actually really able to pay that much attention. That'll be a 2.
2. Well, this isn't a high pressure situation. Yeah, I think we'll say this is a controlled situation.
Okay.
Which means you can try again with a risky position, or you can withdraw and try a different approach. Basically, you don't really notice anything, so you can push forward and try something that risks provoking some sort of response, or you can just try something different.
Watch for a bit, get bored. Don't really get any information whatsoever. I don't know if Tycho spends the entire time watching the donut shop. He probably just looks off to different places. I'm sure Bade is like, wow, this guy's terrible at his job. He's bad at all things. And then Tycho says, all right, that's good enough. And he'll go up and head into the shop. I did my checked out the scene. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I think this is like, I don't think you go into the actual shop. It's like it's the counter. You kind of stand at the counter that's facing out, like a kiosk more than a proper shop, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see this. See the person behind the counter looks like a Zeltron. Presumably this is Cat. So, oh, hey, what do you want?
You're a cat, right?
Yes.
Ornis mentioned that you're
Oh.
having some trouble.
Oh, she, you're the friend she was going to talk to.
She's the person who she talked to me about you.
Oh, okay. And you know, I think, yeah, you know that Zeltrons, they have this kind of partly, one thing they have is pheromones that make
Yeah.
people like them, find them attractive. But they also have, I think they have like a low level sense of people's vibes, that sort of thing. So either way, she's obviously very empathetic. She picks up on that this thing. Yeah, okay, Ornis is not your friend exactly, but it's someone you know. So she senses there's a bit of tension there. Yeah, I've been having troubles with some people who I think they're trying to like target me for protection, extortion, or something. It's never happened before. I mean, I don't make enough money to be of interest to anyone. I didn't think, but apparently these people think I do.
What have they done so
Orna
far?
said you have some experience with people who do this sort of thing.
What have these people done? They shown up? Have they wrecked anything? Have they demanded money, credits?
They've been indirect, I suppose. You know how people make threats without really saying anything straight out. But it's clear that they want part of my take.
They've specifically asked you for some of the money, but they
They've
don't want
said
you
that
carrying
if-
around stuff.
They've said that if I were to sell them part of my business, they could guarantee that nothing untowards would happen and nobody would cause me any trouble. And of course, no one's caused me any trouble until they started showing up. And the price they named was ridiculous.
Okay. Who's their spokesperson? How do you get in contact with them?
They just show up. It's usually when I'm at my next stop. I'm going there in a couple of hours. They really get this bad feeling from them, not just because of what they do and what they say, but there's something wrong with them.
Wrong with them?
I don't know. It's not something I've ever felt before.
Well, I've got a little bit of time to kill. Do you mind if I hang out here till you go to meet with them?
Not at all. Not at all. They think she. Are you trying to be charming, or are you kind of like professional and a little standoffish?
Tycho does like Zeltrons. I think he came in professional, but he's just sort of melted into a more casual, friendly demeanor. So he's failed in his be super professional because he's going to blame the pheromones. Totally going to blame the pheromones.
Nice. So, oh wow, 3D model of the of the donut shop.
Yeah, that thing will. That chewed up my
Yeah.
resources. I loaded that thing up and I was like, oh, I can't hear anyone. I have to close this. I'll definitely save it though. That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's a bit bigger than what my memory told me. So I think this is you do go inside. There's like a couple of small tables, like a bench around the outside with a counter, so you can sit like looking out through the window, that sort of thing. So yeah, sure. And she, it seems like she, when you were watching, there was a fair amount of people coming and going, and it's kind of slowed down. And it seems like she, the way she describes it to you, that yeah, it usually slows down this time of day. That's why I moved to the next spot. There's a bit more, and I think it's going towards evening. There's usually more people there in the evening. So there's a couple of people coming and going, but there's not a huge amount of business. So she chats along with you. She's let's see a consort maybe.
Ooh, fun. I have dice in that. Yay.
I think consort is like if you're trying to talk to her and be friendly and that sort of.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I don't have. Oh.
I got a 5.
Nice. Yeah, so she's friendly and she's
Oh, wait. I've been honest with. Oh, I haven't been about my faults. Sorry, I just remembered I had a special ability, but I haven't been honest with my
okay,
faults,
okay.
so doesn't count. Sorry, back to you.
Yeah. So she she's friendly. She's happy to chat with you, and she it's clear that she prioritizes her customers. So she's but she's happy to chat, and she's not quite touchy-feely, but she'll like touch your arm occasionally and that sort of.
Yeah, Tycho likes that. Tycho is a-okay.
Yeah. So
I think as we head to this next building, the cameras picks up like I think the donut shop was hovering a little bit low, and it kind of picks up to move to the next one, and it moves very slowly. And that's when we get a shot of Bade. Bade is situated up underneath where all that wire and tubing is. And I'd like to, once we get to the new location, I'd like to do a survey there.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
And see how things look. I have 2 dice in survey. Do you have a devil's bargain?
Maybe. Oh. It could, or maybe that's too harsh, but I'm going to offer it anyway. Since you're still wanted after your and Etma's adventure with the stormtroopers, someone spots you, and it's going to be a while before there's a reaction, so you'll have time. But there will be a clock that's counting down for someone arriving who wants to have a word with you.
So let me counter that and see if this fits okay. What if the next location is like an Imperial depot where she's selling donuts to the Imperials?
Oh yeah.
Which puts me,
good.
Instead of being in a controlled situation, either I'm risky or desperate.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like a Corsac. It's a police station basically.
Yeah.
And we all know about cops and donuts, so you know.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's not right next to it, but it's like in the on the same block basically.
Okay. And can I push myself as well as take a devil's bargain? I always get that confused.
Yeah, you can do one for effect and the other for an extra die, but you can't do both for extra die.
So then I think what I'll do is I'll push myself for effect. Do you have an idea about what's going on here, Anders? Or Let me roll the dice and then we'll talk about it. Let's see.
Yeah.
So I got a 6.
That's
And I didn't ask
good.
you what the situation was. I should have asked beforehand.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Tycho is still in the donut shop chatting with Kat. You can see them through the window. I assume you're not still hanging on the other side. You've like moved, or
No, I
is
think
that where
I'm
you
still
want to be?
underneath, kind of
Yeah.
squatting under there so no one can see me and trying to
Mhm.
figure out exactly what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you see is, so she's hovering kind of like next to this walk bridge that goes across the avenue. You see a Corsac speeder come up there, and one of the officers steps out and goes in and comes back out with a like a huge load of donuts. And there's from a couple of other people who do similar, like big, apparently big deliveries that she has prepared. And Tycho, you've seen her like running the like preparing big orders that she's like put away while she's talking to you. So she's prepared for these big deliveries. And there's a fair amount of tourists coming and going. But Bade, what you spot as you're hanging under there, and people can't really see you. I mean, you're squirreled away, hiding underneath there. You spot a couple of people in black clothes, not quite robes, but kind of like almost like a gi, like a martial arts sort of thing, and they do have hoods. And they are talking to each other while they're watching the donut shop. And they start to move towards it. You see them walking towards some stairs that go up to this walk bridge. And you spot this well ahead of time.
Do I have any idea who these people might be?
You don't recognize them. You don't recognize these clothes as fitting in with any of the gangs you've encountered. So not really.
Okay.
I don't think, and since you're not native to 1314, so you're not
Right.
really plugged into everything that's going on there.
Mental note to ask Tritsy later, if she's heard of these people. Yeah.
So you spot them moving towards the donut shop. If you want to reposition before they arrive, you can do that.
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up so that if something goes down with Tycho in the donut shop, I can be good backup, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know if this is actually going to be me, climbing over and getting underneath the walkway, or if it's me looking like a customer coming up or something like that. We'll have to see once we get into things. But yeah, I'm positioning myself, so yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, you're prepared to jump in if something happens. Cool. So Tycho, you're chatting away with Kat. You also, I mean, maybe you turn away a little when the Corsac officer steps in and picks up his big delivery. But he's not looking for anyone, and you're not particularly wanted on 1314. There's no one here specifically looking for you. So and you see these other people coming in with big deliveries, and then you notice Kat tensing up, and when you kind of glance over, you see these two people in their black yeah, martial arts kind of clothes and hoods that are, they're not quite like pulled full all the way down, but they do have they have the hoods on.
Are they sized like humans?
Yeah, yeah. They look human as far as you can tell, but it's not entirely sure. They could be some sort of near human, but they're not obviously non-human.
I would like to try and attune myself. She said they seem sick or off or something. I want to understand that. So I'll do that.
Sure. You want a devil's bargain or something?
What's your devil's bargain?
They notice what you're doing.
I'm gonna refuse that. I'll just take my 3 dice. I'd like to at least have a little bit of a jump on them at start. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to boost myself, so I'll spend a couple stress and get myself in a bit. Wait, what's my position?
I think it's risky. It's kind of a crowded situation. They're close up. It's yeah.
And the Corsair person's gone, right? They waited for the Corsair
There's
guy to
no
leave.
other
Okay.
customers here right now.
Okay. Risky position, regular effect or
Yeah, standard effect.
standard? Okay. Yeah, I'll take that extra die. Here we go. Oof, the extra die was a 6. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so Tycho has some sort of force sensitivity. I don't think you've had any like formal training or anything.
Nope.
Have you been around other like proper force users? Have you encountered any?
Other than what's on the holonet, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You saw this like Hearts of the Force series of movies. Anyway.
Yeah, so nothing in real life.
Nope. Nothing in real life.
Yeah. So what does it look like when you reach out?
I think he does, because we've seen that usually there's some kind of hand gesture with the force. So I think he does he holds a hand up, and through his eyes, he's able to see almost like auras off of the two of them. They're slightly different colors, showing that they're individuals. Yeah, I think he's able to get a sense of what those colors mean without, if you asked him right after, he couldn't write down and say red means this. It's more he gets that. When he gets better at this, maybe he could formulate a pattern to it. But right now, it's just almost 3 dice, not clumsy, a growing sensation that he has more and more control over, but not there yet.
Yeah. So it's maybe more like a synesthetic thing. It's like he interprets it as color, but it's not actually a color.
I like that.
Yeah. So and this is something that's kind of grown gradually over time. It's maybe you've recently started to be able to like direct this and activate it willingly. Does that sound fair?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So from Kat, you sense this tension, and she's nervous and a little afraid and a little angry. But these other two, you don't get the kind of read you usually get on people from that. It's like your vision slips away, and you can't quite see their auras, but the feeling you get is dark and jagged in a way that normal people, you've never felt anything like that. This is something aggressive and it's almost like getting a static shock, like a tiny static shock when you look at them. Like you get those continually. It's a very, very uncomfortable feeling.
So I think in this movie, if you don't mind, I think in this
Mhm.
movie we see this very dramatic moment where you kind of reach out and there's this aura and you gain this understanding, and then there's like this sting of like going back to Bade, and Bade sees you kind of through the window holding your hand out or doing this mystical thing, and she's like, Emperor's black bones, that's never gonna work, you know, and then slips back into position. Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, and they when you kind of come out of this sense, not trance, but like you come back out of it. You hear them talking to
Reverie.
Kat and, sorry.
Reverie instead of trance.
Yeah. Good. That's a good word for it. You hear them talking to Kat, and you recognize this. This is exactly they're trying to extort her. They're leaning on her. They're trying to scare her, and I think your sense is that they're at the point where if she continues to say no, they'll probably do something. Maybe not here and now, but maybe tonight they'll go there and trash the place. Maybe they'll set a fire that doesn't quite destroy it, but damages it and shows her that they're serious. That sort of thing.
Just two of them? Anybody
Yeah.
backing them up?
Not that you can see. And Bade, you haven't seen anyone else either. It's just these two guys. And they are both guys.
Okay. I don't get in the
Actually,
way.
sorry, let me change that. It's a man and a woman.
Okay. Unless they do actively hurt, if this is all threats, but I get the sense that there will be more, I'll let all that play out. Tycho's not gonna Tycho is smart enough, at least he thinks he's smart enough, not to go head up on somebody in a nice cafe and break a lot of stuff. His plan is to kind of maybe exit the place once he gets a read that nothing bad's going to happen. And he's going to follow these guys back to wherever they go.
I'm going to make a fortune roll for Kat to see how she reacts in this situation. I'm going to roll 2 dice, and if she rolls high, then she keeps her cool.
I should maybe have mentioned something to her.
She gets a 6, so she kind of plays them off, and yeah, I'll think about it, and that sort of thing. And the man says, yeah, see that you do. And the woman, she like very demonstratively reaches over the counter and grabs one of the donuts and bites into it,
Betty.
and then kind of tosses it on the floor. And they walk out.
These guys are the worst. Stole a donut. Did you see what I did? Okay.
Yeah, so they leave. You can follow them. What's the play between you two here?
So again, I think that Bade's doing the same thing, backing up Tycho without him knowing. So if Tycho follows them, she's going to follow Tycho. But I think she's going to stay. She still doesn't trust Tycho's abilities on the street, so she's going to stay close enough. I think it puts her at risk because she's closer to Tycho than normally she would be, so that she can also follow the two people. Yeah.
So let's see a roll from Tycho first. What do you want to roll? What's your?
I feel like I'm trying to prowl after these guys.
So your focus is like staying hidden more than. It's more important. The most important part to you is that they don't notice. Is what I'm interpreting that as.
I mean, imagine the moment they know that I'm following them, they're going to turn on me with their
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
jagged auras, and trouble's going to happen. Okay.
Mhm.
Got a devil's bargain for me?
Someone have a suggestion? It could be that they fairly quickly move into an area that's a lot less populated. Like they move straight into the back street. So if something happens, you'll be isolated.
Ooh, that sounds a little scary. I love it. I'll take that devil's bargain. Thank you. And standard effect, risky position.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Wow, 4 and a 6.
Nice.
This is bad. What's happened is I'm going to roll all my 6s.
I think I want to see a roll from Bade as well before we move on. But what you can see, Bade, is that Tycho is following them, and he's fairly good at like staying out of sight and that sort of thing. And they're moving into this. It's like you have the broad avenue, you have the buildings right next to it, or everything's like facing out towards the avenue. So as soon as you move away from that, there's like some of the side streets are a little bit bigger, and there's some shops and that sort of thing. But when you get beyond that, like 1 block away from the avenue, it's more like just residential areas, and it's these very dull Juracrete buildings and a lot of these little alleys and that sort of thing. It's built for foot traffic more than vehicles. So there are a lot of little nooks and crannies and these very narrow alleyways and that sort of thing. So it's very easy to get lost. But you can see that Tycho is doing a good job of staying out of sight of these two.
I think, we hear Bade just says, got lucky. And so Bade was originally, up on, whenever we were in the more populated areas, was up on Tycho, at risk of being seen. But as soon as fewer and fewer people are there, drops back and probably goes over a block to kind of just walk along and look through the alleys as everybody walks past and keep track of them that way. Let me roll. Let me roll and see how that goes. I got a 2 and a 3.
Wow. So you're also rolling prowl?
Yes, because I wanted to remain unseen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're also in a risky position. So things go badly. I think you're going to lose them. You can, and that's the consequence. No, sorry. Since you fail, you don't manage to keep track of them. Actually, let's do it this way. You can choose whether you manage to stay out of sight or if you keep track of them. If either you lose them and they don't spot you, or you manage to keep track of them, but in this kind of almost maze-like area, they notice you.
I would rather them not notice me, so I lose track of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you're still like in the area. You're not like completely gone, but you've lost track of Tycho and these two people. You know roughly which direction they were going, so you can continue to move that way. But you've lost sight of them. You don't have eyes on them.
Yep. Perfect.
Cool. So Tycho, you follow them, and they stop at what seems like a nondescript door could be into a residential block. It could lead into some sort of backyard, or it could be some stairs going down somewhere. It's very unclear. It's just a small nondescript door that's just facing the street. They stop there, and it's clear that they're about to go inside.
It doesn't look like it's open to the public, anything like that.
No, they're like using or they're punching in a code to open it.
I wait until they punch in the code and then I shoot them.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What do you want to roll for that?
Nothing. It just happened to them. It feels like skirmish. Well, wait. I think Hunt is like attacking with precision, shooting from a distance. I've got my oh, by the way, normal load.
Yeah.
And I think I've got my blaster out, so I just move up. Pew, pew. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Got a devil's bargain for me.
Some civilian spots you.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And Bade, you will hear the blaster fire, so you'll be able to get there, but not right away.
I run up with the pedestrians or the civilians that see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
4. Yeah, I think this was risky standard. So
I should have asked. Sorry.
you hit one of them. The man, and he kind of and like falls forward. Unclear if he's down or down and out, or if he's just temporarily knocked down. I don't think I can make your position desperate at this point. Actually, I think you have reduced effect, because he moves just as you shoot him. It's as if he knew that you were going to shoot him, and he moves. So instead of hitting him square in the back where you were aiming, you just hit him in the shoulder. It's still a
Wait,
still a
so
hit.
it was a man and a woman. One guy fell down. The other
No,
one
sorry.
moved?
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
just making sure.
I should explain it here. You only hit the man. You
Okay.
get limited effect, so you're not going to take out both of them.
Sure, absolutely.
Normally, you would have taken him out, but you get the consequence here is that you get reduced effect, which means you just injure him instead of taking him out. You can resist that if you want to.
I think I will. I want my shot to land true. Also have some stuff that triggers higher stress, so I am okay with the stress here. I'm going to resist with resolve.
That's 4 dice. You have the extra die
My
for
resolve
resistance.
is 3. Oh, right, because of our smugglers thing.
Yeah.
So 4 dice. Thank you for that reminder. Wow. My best was a 3. So I ate 3 stress, right? Oof.
Yeah.
Cheese and crackers.
So you're about to shoot him, and you realize somehow that he's about to move. He knows I'm going to shoot him. And before he moves, you know exactly where he's going to move to. and you re-aim and you hit him square in the back.
I'm sorry, the gender pronouns are really confusing me. So I thought it was a man and a woman.
Yeah.
There were two.
Yeah.
Did I shoot the woman or did I
You
shoot
shot the man.
I shot the man and he fell down.
Yeah.
And the woman is
No.
what we've just been talking about?
No,
Or
I'm
the
sorry.
man is who we've been talking about.
The man
Oh, so
turned
the
to the
wo-
side.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the man turned to the side. So the woman is shot?
No. It's
Okay.
sorry. What's happening? What's actually happening is he senses that you're going to shoot him.
So before I
aiming at
shoot
the man.
anybody, he senses it. And I okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
He was the best target. You aimed for him. You sensed that he was going to move, and you changed your aim so that you would still hit him.
Okay.
Does that make
Thank you.
sense?
Yes, it does. I thought you, for some reason in my head, I thought you were saying the guy's down and the woman was the one that things were getting tricky
Yeah,
with.
sorry.
But it's
That was me
okay.
backing up because
so
of
I
the-
never hit the woman at this point because of that limited effect. Okay,
Exactly.
cool. Boy, I sure wish somebody was here as backup.
So he crumples to the ground. The woman spins around, and she spots you, obviously, because you're not hidden anymore. She pulls out a blaster and fires back at you. The civilian who saw this runs around the corner. Bade, you almost bump into them, but you step aside, and you see this person firing at Tycho, and you're kind of like on opposite ends of the street, if that makes sense, like looking towards these people. So yeah, Bade, what do you do?
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to help Tycho avoid the shot. And basically, I'm going to assist Tycho, giving him a die.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tycho. I think at this point, if you want to do anything where you're not like taking cover or avoiding this, you'll have to resist being shot before you get to do your thing. That makes sense?
That makes sense for sure. I think I would like to resist getting hit. Like I'll try to dodge out of the way if that's an option for me.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. If you like just duck around the corner and keep your head down, then you're not in danger, but then you're also much more limited in what you can. So it depends on what your plan is.
My plan is to shoot her again.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
if
then you'll
I'm
have to
losing that
resist.
opportunity, okay, all right, that's fair. I'll do that then. I will resist. Oh goodness, here we
So
go.
are you actually resisting a consequence at this point?
Yeah, it's one of these situations where to do your thing, you first have to resist a thing.
So
And
I can go ahead.
you can protect. If
That's
you
what
want
I'd like to do. I'd like
Yeah.
to try to protect Tycho by drawing the attention of the woman. So maybe she shoots at me instead of Tycho.
Yeah, or you can lay down some cover fire or something.
Yeah. So because so I'll take that consequence. Because I'm the heart of the crew, Tycho, if you're okay with this, it means you reduce your stress by 1 because I'm protecting you.
That sounds great. I'd like
Yep.
to have some stress reduced. Wow, you're the hero of me.
It's the heart
And-
of the team. She's the
Yeah.
heart of the team.
That's right. And I'm going to try to resist the consequence with just to not get shot.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably going to be speed. So it's prowess, I think.
Prowess works. So you take a couple of shots at her, she spins around and fires at you, and it's normally if someone would do that, they would like fire wildly, but she's kind of very accurately firing straight at you.
Yeah. My highest is a 5, so I take 1 stress.
Yep.
And I think this is what it looks like on screen is, she's firing, directly at me, and I'm zigzagging, gaining ground to get up into the same space where the 2 of them, 3 of them are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like sorry, if the street is going this way, like the door is here in the middle, Tycho is over here, and you're over here, and now you're advancing while she's firing at you, and Tycho is firing at her.
And then I gave you assistance because I've drawn their attention with the,
Yeah.
2 times per score, you can assist the teammate Tycho. So you can go ahead and shoot her.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to shoot her.
Yeah.
I think it's still skirmish at this point because we're getting close combat at this point.
Mhm.
So with that assist, I have 2 dice. See something here. See something here.
It's getting a bit dangerous to push yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to push myself.
So you'd get a lot of dice. No, sorry, you don't have the loose cannon.
I don't. I almost got it because it is a really sweet part of this playbook, but I was like,
Mhm.
well, Edema had that. I don't want to do it right off the bat.
Yeah.
So. Five.
Yeah. So again, you do it with a consequence. I think you're going to hit her and injure her badly, but she's going to fire back at you. So you're going to take level 2 harm, but you can resist that.
I think I will resist that. This may be the last time I try to resist anything.
You can also have armor.
I'm going to have armor. That is a much better choice. Thank you. If I have... Will armor take out the level 2 harm?
Yeah. In this case, I think it will stop.
Okay.
It completely.
There we go.
Cool. So you shoot her. She falls to the ground, but she is clearly not out. And she's trying to crawl in through this door. Bade, you're the closest at this point. You can probably get there before she gets in and can close the door, but that puts you very close to her, and that could be risky. And you don't know what's inside of it.
Yeah. So I think that's actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump. Oh, what's that? What's the guy doing right now? Actually,
He's just down. He's
just
lying
down.
still on the
Okay.
ground.
Okay. Then I think I'm going to run in and pull out my vibra knife and like stab at the lady to prevent her from going in. So let's see what that looks like. What is this going to be? Skirmish? I think that's skirmish.
Skirmish sounds right. I think you will also have to, or actually, let me think. Yeah. You run forward, you pull out your vibra knife, and she's kind of on her back, and she sees you, and she reaches out with her arm and screams, and you feel yourself being thrown backwards. You can, if you resist, you can resist that, and then you can continue with your action, or you can just accept being thrown away.
Yeah, I'm gonna resist that. And again, I think that's probably prowess.
Prowess
Right?
works.
Yeah. Oh, my highest is a 3. Ooh.
Free
So I
stress.
take 3 stress. And I think what that looks like is whenever she does that, I kind of pull off to the side, but it rips Etima's vibro blade out of my hand and it goes flying across the street. And we see this look of panic, and that's whenever I think I go hand to hand with this lady on the ground who's done this weird shout thing. It sounds stupid. Let's see. Is that skirmish?
Skirmish sounds about right, yeah.
Do you have a devil's bargain?
You don't just drop Etoma's vibro knife, it like falls down the sewer, so it's
Ooh.
gone.
Oh no, I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna take that. So I'm gonna roll my dice, and I got 2.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah. Risky position. So things go badly. I think there are 2 consequences here. One
Yeah.
is lose this opportunity because she kicks you off and rolls inside and the door closes. That's one consequence. You can resist that. The other is that she can really fight. She knows how to do this. So she gets you with a really solid punch straight to the throat, and you take level 2 harm. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You take level 1 harm.
Okay.
You can resist either or both or neither. It's up to you.
So I'm gonna try to resist her getting away and the door closing.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be probably with prowess.
Sure.
Again, that's gonna be making sure she can't get in there. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that almost takes me out. And then for the punch, I'm gonna use armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like punching straight for your throat. What kind of armor is it that you have that?
Yeah.
got-
I think she punches from my throat, and I kind of hunch up my shoulders, and she hits like a pauldron that's underneath my jacket, and it
Nice.
kind of clangs a little bit, but kind of throws me off kilter.
Mhm. Yeah, and she looks. I mean, she's clearly in pain because she's taken a blaster shot, but she's furious. She looks absolutely. Her face is really twisted with anger. So Tycho, you you took a shot in your. I assume you have some sort of vest or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you
And
can
you
even
see
see him. It
Bade.
looks like he's wearing a vest. I think he's got a
Yeah,
vest
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, that's true. You see Bade rushing forward, coming out of nowhere, first shooting and then rushing forward with a vibro knife, and somehow Bade staggers and drops the knife, but she jumps on this woman and wails on her, and they're fighting like in the doorway. So what do you do?
I'm gonna step in and see if I can just point blank like shoot this girl. I know they're moving fast, so it's a little risky, but she needs to go
Yeah,
down.
you have to.
Did I get that weird sense? Like when she screamed, did I feel a bit of that? Even though it wasn't against. I just want to know if that's a thing. The weirdness of that was something he's aware
I
of.
think you got some of that dark, jagged feeling that you sensed up in the donut
Nice.
shop, like those static flickers.
Cool.
So yeah, you'll have to like rush forward because you're kind of still at your corner of the street. Bade has moved up. You have moved forward a little bit, but you're not. So you have to you'll run forward and try to nail her point blank, basically.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see you do that.
Okay. I think it
Feels
is
like skirmish.
Yeah, it seems like skirmish to me too.
Bade can assist you, but that would take Bade out. No, sorry, you have your free assist, right?
Yeah,
Have you
but
used both? Yeah, you want to save
no,
that
I've
one?
only used one. And I think that, yeah, I know I'm gonna assist Tycho in because I know, whenever I have more, I guess whenever I'm out of my depth, like with this hand-to-hand fighter, it's better to blindside him with a gun. So I know Tycho's gonna step up with a gun.
Mm-hmm. And just to I think this means that you've spent these assists for the next job, since this isn't an actual score.
Yep.
Rich is sorry. Oof, that's a 4 because of the second die, so that helped paid off.
Nice. So you do it with a consequence, which means you're going to shoot her. But I think, yeah, I mean, the obvious thing is that you also hit Bade. So Bade is going to take level 2 harm.
Steven, are you okay with that? Because that feels like a really good rookie mistake.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. I will not resist
Cool.
that because I'm running low on stress and worried I'll yeah.
Yeah, because Bade and this woman, they're wrestling and rolling around on the ground, and you can see that Bade is trying to set you up for the shot, and you, I think you hit her, but you hit her like in the shoulder, and the shot goes straight through and hits Bade as well.
Dang.
So the door is open because she's laying in the doorway, and Bade is as well. The man is still down on the ground, and this woman, she's at least unconscious, probably dead, but you're not sure if you don't stop and check. And I think you, at this point, you hear, what you can see is that there's stairs going down, like right inside the door. It's like a small landing, and then there's a curved stairway going down. And you can hear voices from down there that seem, and you hear running steps up the stairs.
So I think what Bade does is Bade pulls out of, a pouch, BD-8, the droid, tosses it up, and I think it attaches to the ceiling and kind of, hides back in beside a crook or cranny. And she tells Tycho, "We need to get out of here."
Yeah. And he's gonna do a real quick like brush over her, like what does she have stuff kind of thing.
Yeah, they have these martial arts type clothes. She has like a belt was kind of partly hidden, like in the folds of the clothes, because they're kind of loose. She had a holster for her blaster, and there's like a pouch with probably some personal items or maybe some credits or something. But she's not.
I'll grab the pouch real quick and then yeah. And I think we'll shut the door and he'll check the guy who he shot real quick, knowing we got to get out of here. So it's lightning fast.
Yeah, it's similar. He also has a blaster, and he has a vibro knife as well, and also some like what do you call it? Like on the belt, like a pouch attached to the belt, not like a loose one. You can grab that if you want to. Or you can just like grab his whole belt.
I'll grab his whole belt.
Cool. So I think I want to see a group action from you on getting away clean, as clean as you can at this point.
So I think while Tycho was doing that, I headed across the street, picked up Etima's vibro knife, put it back in my little pouch, and hissed, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting away is probably prowl, unless you want to make it something different.
Do you want to head this up?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. I want to head this up. This way. Oof, that's a fail. Hope you succeed.
Okay. See what mine is. I got a 6.
Nice.
All right. So I take a stress for fail.
So Tycho or Bade, you run, pick up Etma's knife. You see, as you look over your shoulder, you see Tycho grabbing this belt. Tycho runs after you. You wave him around the corner, and then you both like you hear running steps behind you, but you lose them. Whoever is following you, you lose them in this kind of maze-like Juracrete jungle, I guess we're in, and you get back out onto Temple Avenue, but you're quite far away from where you started. But you do get away.
And I think that, did you have more that you wanted from the scene?
No. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
If Tycho wants,
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That was great.
I was going to say, I did want to have just like a sentence with Val. So this is once we get back, and Val's like, I think you've learned, what did you say exactly, Kai? You said, I think this has been a learning opportunity for both of us, or something like that.
Yeah. But like, as you're coming into the building or whatever, I'm going through some passed out drunks clothes or whatever, exactly like how Tycho was going through the other people's stuff, just kind of like a visual mirror to it all.
And I think we kind of debrief, and the discussion is, Tycho went out on the street, got into trouble, and like a good boss, boss's assistant, second in command, I was there to make sure that they didn't, get taken out by themselves, going off on a mission by themselves. And, I took some heat for it. I took some damage for it. And I think that gets wrapped back up into that debrief that we had earlier, where it was like, I think we both learned lessons.
Yeah, so now retroactively, while you were talking to the Hutt, you were both kind of beat up and yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Thank you.
Got it. Yeah, it was the timing. Now I've got it in my head. So
Yeah. Cool. So now we're back in the present. Yeah, Val, you have your special ability, right? For taking.
or if the job is desperate to begin with, then I can adjust that by saying that was a bad idea.
Yeah. I was thinking to your special care.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that.
But have you've already used?
To do the actual like doctor healing role, I need one more experience point for my special ability.
Oh, right.
So I need to buy medic. And
yeah.
An experience point.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to give Boko and Bade the opportunity to have that conversation, and then I think we'll give Val and Tycho a chance to talk about how to move forward as well. Does that sound reasonable? Cool. So who wants to go first?
I've taken up a lot of time. I'd like to, although I kind of hold Kai back, so sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so let's do Boko Bade first, but leave enough time for Val and Tycho.
What was the conversation that you wanted to have between Boko and Bade?
What I noted was that talking about Etma leaving and where what's the situation with the crew right now.
Perfect. Yeah, so
I'll just point out that Boko has had Jita and Iggy, the IG droid. They pushed for you to take charge of the gang. You have seniority. You should be the one who's in charge. You have the experience. And Bade, you've had Esnada pushing for you to be the boss, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that while we do this, I'm going to spend a cred and take another downtime action to reduce my stress.
Mm.
And we're getting drunk, like Valid said. And, you know, I'm basically, what's the right word? I've bought some high quality liquor and some high quality smokes that we can basically indulge in while we have this conversation.
You want to do it in the manager's office?
Of course.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want this to be listened to
Yeah.
by any of our gangs. So let's go out someplace, right? And the
Mhm.
two of us are like in a pleasure den someplace where they'll be listening, but they won't know exactly what we're talking about. How's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
good.
Yeah. So we should talk about who's in charge of the gang. With Etame leaving and you being back, you know, you have seniority. I stepped in where I could, but I'll follow your lead.
Val and I had that talk before I went inside. And yeah, just to avoid, we don't need a power struggle. Val's the guy running the show now, so it seemed like he was weirdly deferential to you for a little bit there. Something going on that I should know about? You got something on him?
No, I was just trying to make sure someone followed through with the gang who had history with the gang. I don't know about you, but I've had, you know, some of the established members have come to me and said that I belonged in charge, not the new guy, right?
I've had the same.
And we can't exactly just tell them be comfortable with the new guy being in charge, right? But we can show his worth, that he helps push us in the right direction for the group. And if he doesn't, then one of us steps up, right?
Give me your honest opinion, because I've been away for a little while. How has it been with Val in charge?
It's been different, but yeah, I think it's been pretty good. I think that Val has helped connect us with higher powers and, you know, made sure that our jobs aren't as messy as they used to be.
They used to be pretty
and
messy.
and less messy is nice. I mean, you know, hopefully in the next few months we won't see tanks come roaring through our, you know, through the neighborhood looking for us, right?
I mean, unless there's rebels in them, right?
Yeah. Do you know about the whole Galosh thing? You do, right?
I think you got them in.
Yeah. That we hooked up the Galosh with the rebels, and now we're on the hook to make sure that that relationship breaks. So, you know, who knows? And I think Bade starts to slur words a little bit,
Mhm.
you know, and, you know, it's like, if that was good people. I mean, we just need time to deal with it and, you know, get that history behind everyone.
It's nice to have a place that's not going to get knocked down. Do you think, I mean, that ship is their home? Do you feel like there's any chance they're just going to up and leave at some point if things go wrong, if it gets rough?
Well, they've said that. I mean, they've said that they'll just up and leave because they want out of here. So, but, you know, they need to have a reason to stay. Think you're a reason for them to stay?
I don't think I'm a reason for anyone to stay. So
No one
do
ever
we have a
sticks
reason?
around for me. I mean, look at Etame, she left. So yeah.
Yeah, Edema, Edema's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, everybody's got family and people, so yeah.
Not everybody. Well, what do we what do we say about finding a reason for them to stay? Even if we have to make one. Get them some more skin in the game.
Oh, this is the kind of smarts that made you a cop.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna forget you said that.
This is kind of smarts that make you join the gang. Yeah. Yeah.
So they don't have a personal stake, right?
They have a personal stake in Bria. Both of them.
That's true. I mean, all of us, really.
True. Bria's like a sister to us. She's something more to them.
So let's say things go well somehow, and we spring Bria. Do they stay then? Do they leave? Do they take her with them?
I think they're gonna take her with them.
So the question is, do we want them to stay and give them a reason, or just prepare for that day?
You ask good questions. If we want them in charge, we want them to stay. Of course, we don't want a leadership vacuum whenever they leave on their end, for their decision. What do you think?
I like having someone else in charge. It takes the pressure off so we can actually get work done.
Yeah.
Do we want to try and bump the schedule up on Bria? Try and make that a choice sooner rather than later? I mean, I've been in there. I talked to her. She's doing okay, but she'd be doing better outside.
Would we be doing Bria any favors if we got her out and she dropped into the mess that we have with the Hutts and the noble houses and the gang wars? I mean, if she's doing okay on the inside, maybe we should clean things up, make it look better for us before she gets out.
Got a lot of good answers.
It's not my first rodeo.
Well, let's just keep an eye on things.
Yeah. I think I'm going to put my head down for just a little bit.
I think I'm like pat her on the head, and I think Boko is kept up drink wise, but is not as drunk.
Yeah, seems that's the natural end to the scene.
Yeah.
You want to make your recovery roll
Yeah.
or your ice roll?
So I roll my highest section, which is 3. I got a 6. Ooh, and I have that ability which lets me adjust the outcome by 1 or 2 up or down.
Yeah.
Aha, so I'm doing much better now. Oh. Except that because of my wound, I should be rolling 1 less die.
Only on rolls where it matters, and I don't think being shot stops you from drinking. So
Okay, yeah. I'll just have to remember that.
cool. So let's cut to Val and Tycho, and you can decide when and where this takes place.
Rich, how hurt is Tycho?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Well then.
He's very stressed though, and so perhaps.
Well, I do have
I'm
an
taking it
ability
down.
that if you talk
Oh.
to me about it, you do lose a stress.
Cool.
You can either lose a stress or get an extra tick in your healing clock. And I cancel.
Nice. I'll take the stress. That sounds fun.
Okay. Let's go someplace new. Let's go to the same place that my character's son went to watch the ships. Oh, that's on 1313.
No, I'd imagine something similar on 1314 has to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
that
was-
whole tube that comes down. Yeah.
Yeah, you went
Yeah,
to the docks with the shaft.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's go to the docks. Someplace that even I don't have a tab. Just someplace completely new. And it's the next Torgruta restaurant, right? That restaurant we used to have.
The new inverted fork. I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, figured I'd take a look around at some of the new things. This place keeps changing. You
Yeah.
Is there like, are you biting your nails, or what does nervousness look like for
That's a good point.
Tycho?
I think,
Or stressed out?
yeah, that's a great question. I hadn't really considered what Tycho does when he's very stressed out. I think what he does, like it'll be some kind of repetitive motion that's a little bit noisy. So I'm looking at I'm just like he's got a glow rod that he just clicks on and off. It's like a real small one you could fit in your hand, and he just clicks the thing to turn it on and off. And there's a little bit of sweat coming down the side of his face.
You looked like you needed a break. What's going on?
I started the donut shop job. It went a little sideways on me. Well, a lot sideways.
I thought the donut job was small. Is it bigger than what you had anticipated?
You imagine we're like ships going over. Are we seated facing each other? Are we in the restaurant, or are we outside where?
Yeah, we're outside. Ships are going by and stuff like that.
I think Tycho just reaches forward and takes hold of your wrist.
Okay. I put the fork out. Like, you want to bite?
No. It's weird, and not good weird. The people who are harassing Kat, there's something wrong with them, Val.
What did they do?
Yeah, I've mentioned to you that sometimes I can see weird stuff.
No. What did they do? They're bad. They're wrong. What did they do?
Oh, well, one of them died real good, and the other one didn't.
I assume that you thought that they were wrong before you killed one of them.
Yes.
And they
Jagged.
did-
Jagged. There was
Cool.
something jagged about their whole souls, Val. I've never seen anybody this twisted. They were wearing the same clothes, like part of a cult, you know?
Right.
Bade helped me out. And when she was fighting one of them, that girl screamed, and I felt it. I felt it in my heart. Like she squeezed it real hard.
So I imagine maybe that Tycho squeezes my wrist even more when.
Yeah. Like,
All right.
no, he's not trying to hurt you. It's just
No.
more of the nerves. Yeah.
Well, I do have one dot in a tune. I could try to see if like this memory.
Ooh,
ripples over
that's
or something.
dope. You want a taste of this? You take it, bro.
Sure,
That sounds
do it.
great.
All right. Some of it comes over. I imagine the consequences that it hurts. I got a
Yeah,
four.
I think the consequence here is that you get level 1 harm that
Okay.
is it's not a physical injury, it's like
Vertigo.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
When Tycho sees that he
Oh,
passed
sorry.
it along.
You can resist that if you want to, since it's
Ooh.
a consequence.
Yeah. Not gonna. I want it to be more important. I want it to happen. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pass that.
A cult, you said.
Yeah. Yeah, Cap. I don't know why they care about a donut shop with a hot Zeltron. But
A Hutt Zeltron?
hot.
Hot.
Very,
Yeah.
very hot.
Got it.
Very attractive Zeltron.
And so out of character, Stephen and Mark, this is your hook at this point. I'm going to go with this concept. Like, Tycho, I know that we both came here for Bria, but if I felt what I felt was even a portion of what you were getting from them, these people have to be destroyed. They're unnatural. I can't even call them people anymore.
And Tycho always agrees with Val. And he does so here out loud. But just out loud.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to be destroyed.
Do you think I'm talking about you out of character? Okay.
He's
all
not
right,
sure.
Cool. Okay, cool. All right, now I get you. Totally on board with it.
Also secondary, but they've got the stuff that I don't know much about, and also I'm curious about that. So there's a few things going on in Tycho's head.
We should, find out everything they know before we destroy them, right? And so I'm going to take that vertigo and mix it together with like, I ate a hot chili in the bowl. I'm like, oh, my head. Ah, jeez. I didn't ask for this hot.
Oh, yeah, they're a little crazy, right? Reaches over and kind of grabs a little bit of your hot food and throws it in his mouth. Smiles.
Yeah.
This is the perfect break from that tension, and Tycho will grab it.
If you want, you could spend a cred to get an extra downtime activity and do your indulge vice for pleasure and like order in the extra special.
That sounds like a
food and
great
continue.
idea. So I'll take the one stress from talking about it.
Yep.
One stress off. And I think
Why don't you take it afterward so that you could roll, and even if you get a 6? Well, I guess
Oh,
never mind.
true.
Yeah, 7 plus 6. Yeah, no matter either way, you're not gonna.
even if I get a 6, I'm fine. I can't overindulge.
Right.
And just tell me if you think this is cool. One of his 2 pleasures or vices is weird. Maybe he has both of those pouches and he just pours over them, like dumps them both out, but kind of separates them, and he just studying it, trying to figure it out, trying to understand each little item, no matter if it's like this inconsequential trinket. He's like that. He's building the crazy man board of like the strings and everything with these 2 people's stuff, and really trying to understand who they are, what makes them tick. I think that's the vice he's pursuing.
Yeah, I like
here.
that.
Cool. Then I have bought that, and vice roll is I roll my
Lowest attribute. You have 2 dice,
2 dice.
unless you have something special, but I don't think you do.
No, I think okay. I get back 3,
3.
or I recover 3.
But you're a lot better off than you were before.
Less dangerous.
Cool. So I think if you feel like you're done with that scene, then I think we could have an out of character discussion about what job you're aiming towards. So we can and maybe we can even set that up for doing an engagement roll, but at least get to the point where you know what you want to do. So out of character, what are people most interested in? Does someone have a strong preference?
So the 3 that come to mind without looking are to try to get House Galosh and the rebels separated, to figure out what we're doing with the Hutts, and I think that was just the 2.
Boko definitely wants to get Vervo out of the way. I think, but Trixie is more wanted dealing with the house stuff, whether it's the stuff with Galosh or figuring out. Well, I think that's not John thing. Figuring out the like Nirmal Hutt love triangle. Yeah.
I have an idea. So we need to get an answer to what's the Hutt's name?
Gargok.
Agreeable.
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 Agreeable the Hutt. Yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
agreeable.
I
Yeah.
love that guy.
And we'd like to go, if we're going to do this, to go into this with a position of power. Yeah. So what if we time it so that we say yes at the same time as we get rid of Ruvo and show what we do to Hutts that cross us? So our job is to hit Ruvo and then say yes to agreeable and let that be the message. I'm not saying like carve it into Ruvo's flesh or anything like that, but
Right.
Just, let the 2 pieces of news arrive at the same time, I guess.
And to a certain
what we-
extent,
Go ahead.
we're kind of taking Ruvo's place as a hitter,
Mhm.
right?
You
Yeah.
don't really know what Ruvo's connection to the Hutts is.
Right.
You just know that or actually you don't know. Out of character, you know he delivered a package. In character, you just know that he met with Ugwin.
I mean, it says get rid of Ruvo on other benefits.
Yeah, that
So,
was
yeah.
just my shorthand. So
Yeah. But it's get rid of just like, get him to leave or to kill him.
Take
I'm not
care of.
sure.
Yeah.
depends on what your goal is. I mean, it could be like make friends with Ruvo so he doesn't want to hurt you anymore. So, Rich, do you have a preference? You're muted.
There's a part of me that was eyeing the recruit Milsec contacts because that would help us in a lot of the other heavier actions. But
Ooh, yeah.
that's
And
where
that one
my
pays.
head was. But Rich wants to handle Ruvo, so I'm not at all opposed to that either. They're all pretty cool.
Yeah.
Made a good set of jobs.
Yeah. Mark is interested in the space donut Sith guys, but
Oh yeah. See,
yeah.
Tycho
Boko's all
doesn't
like,
know about
Ruvo said
Boko's
it.
past with
Yeah.
the weird, so that could be a thing where they can connect a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
Yeah, but
excited
we
about
can
that.
also let that can kind of simmer for a bit. We don't
Mhm.
need to get
Mhm.
into the full action.
Yeah.
You're
that'll be
going
a
to
lot
hear
of
about
fun.
it in my wishes.
So it seems that dealing with Ruvo is in some way is the one that the most people are interested in, and I don't think anyone is opposed to doing that. So then the question is, do you try to assassinate him? Do you want to undermine his power base? Do you want to separate him from the Hutts? Something else? Do you want to make friends with him and recruit him into your, or forcibly take over his gang? What's
Yeah, I think
the,
Boko would like to put a hole in his head and ideally take his gang away from him.
So Ty, you mentioned, I like your take on, doing it at the same time as handling the Hutts to a certain extent. And I like the idea. What if we made him look bad in the eyes of the Hutts? So that if we don't want to take him out, I'm fine with taking him out, us taking him out. But if we don't want to take him out, we could use the Hutts to take him out to show how incompetent he is. Why do you need two of us? Why do you need two heavy hitters? We'll be your heavy hitter. You can take Ruvo out. Or we could just kill him.
I mean, it could be a demonstration of your commitment to like your own, like protecting your own by showing the Hutts that this is what we do to people who cross us. If you want to use it in a way against the Hutts, I mean, implicating him in something is also good, but that's also getting more complicated. Or you could just do it completely on the down low and pretend you had nothing to do with it. Or you could do some information gathering beforehand to figure out more about what the situation is. Because like I said, right now you don't really know what his connection to the Hutt is.
He's got connections. He got to Boko in prison.
In prison.
I think gathering some information is the wise, and it might give us some direction on how to take it down.
Cool. I think we'll save that for next session then, because we're coming up on time. But then the aim is to take care of Ruvo in some way, probably kill him, possibly something else, but you want to figure out what the situation is before you commit to anything. And it could turn out that no, it's not really the time to deal with Bruvo, so don't feel like you're forced to get into it if it turns out that it's the wrong move. Cool. I think we'll do stars and wishes, but we'll do that. Oh, we should do XP. Sorry.
Yay, XP! I'm so close.
Yeah. Let's start with the crew. You did not do an operation. I think, yeah, you've definitely contended with challenges above your current station. You've had a Hutt come visit you, and that definitely counts. So it's 1 XP for that. Do you feel like you bolstered your crew's reputation or developed a new one? Currently daring and loyal.
I felt a lot of loyalty coming from Bade for saving my bacon.
And I think that was pretty daring to just go after the two karate guys by yourself.
Yeah. I think I'll bake those into one, if that seems okay.
Yeah.
I think you actually, I think you kind of, I want to give you a new reputation here. That's not on the list. I'm going to give you the reputation mercenary. Because, yeah, I'll just change the list. Because I feel like the way you discuss this with the whole situation with Hutts and that sort of thing, it feels like you were kind of leaning away a little bit from the loyal, like, yeah, we're working for these people, and kind of more like what's best for us. But you'll get an XP as well. So. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? Yeah, you hit that one twice. That's just with all the discussion about leadership and that sort of thing, and what the situation of the crew is. I don't need to go into that. Let's do the others in reverse order. Tycho, did you address a challenge with charm or recklessness?
Charm with the Zeltron or recklessness with the. I'm gonna go with charm with the Zeltron. Yeah, that's where I think he was. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think the beliefs expressed through Vice, but also with the conversation with Val. And I also want to lean on that as the answer to why is Tycho sticking around.
Mm-hmm. I think with everything with the force stuff, I feel like you hit that one twice.
Okay.
I mean, you had a lot of the discussions with Val talking about like the future of the crew and that sort of thing, plus this other separate thing. So I think to me that seems fair. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
So here's why I decided to go for charm, is that I feel like it was reckless, but it was also pretty cold to walk up and shoot two mugs in the back.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
right.
you should get one for that.
Sweet.
It would probably have been smarter to do something else, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. That's 4 total. I marked 2 in special in XP and 2 on prowess because Tycho needs some more skirmish. badly.
Yeah, if you're going to continue like this, you definitely need it. Okay, so Val, did you address a challenge with patience or by putting others' needs ahead of your own?
I mean, patience with agreeable. But not much after that, I don't think. I mean, nothing that really came down to dice, to be honest.
I was gonna say it felt like there was patience with Bade and there was patience with Tycho. So
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
patience with a Hutt.
I try to push it a
Yeah.
little with like grabbing your wrist and stuff, and you were
Yeah,
still
yeah.
patient.
Yeah. I'm thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping that when I'm not patient, it'll be surprising. Right? Like, you know.
Yeah, I think
So, I
you
mean,
did it twice.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think there were a lot of situations where you could have been more hasty or pushed for something, but you took your time, you let everything play out, and that sort of. I feel like that. It seems to me that seems reasonable. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Well, apparently I believe that these people need to be destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take 1 on that. But otherwise, that's it. I think just those 3.
That seems fair. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
Nope. But when I get vicious, I'm going to get vicious. So.
So that's 3 total, right?
Yep. And now I can heal people legit. So.
Excellent. So Trixie wasn't really in
Nah.
this. I think
she
we'll
was
skip
background.
her and go to Boko. Did Boko address a challenge with tracking or violence?
Not really. No. It's a little bit pushy with the Hutt, but I wouldn't say violent.
Yeah, no, it didn't quite cross over into violence, I don't think. Express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Yeah. Definitely worked the underworld stuff, talking with the Hutt there. And maybe the chat with Bade.
Yeah, I think both of those should count. Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
I think a little scoop of paranoid and reckless was in the just like walking up to the Hutt with blaster in hand, being like, "What do you want?"
Yeah, that seems fair.
I would take 1 from a combination of those.
Yeah. So 3 total. That seems fair. Babe, did you address a challenge with theft or guile?
I think Guile following Tycho around as backup. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think so. Basically, with the discussion with Val and Tycho about, a number 2's in charge's position is to back up his people, right?
Yeah, cool. I like that. And did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
My vices are pleasure and gambling, and my trauma is unstable. I don't think I had any issues with the vices with passing out at the table or anything, and I don't think I was particularly unstable. Yeah.
That seems fair. So that's 2 total for you.
Yep.
But I think you got 1 from a devil's bargain at some point.
Yep, I did.
Yeah, cool. so that's the XP. Yeah, let's do stars and wishes off camera. So bye everyone.